What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. It's your man Malik Saber coming back to you with another video on the Black Haven Comics channel. And today we're going to be talking about the newest DC movie, the 2023 film, The Flash, starring Ezra Miller. Now, two things in this video. One, there will be spoilers. So if you have not seen the Flash movie and you do not want to be spoiled, go see it. I believe it's still in theaters right now. It came out last week. It's a good movie. Not great, but we'll get into the video about that. And the second thing is, as I stated in the Killmonger video on the first Marvel Mondays, this will not be a biography video, a docu video about the Flash, Barry Allen. No, this is just going to be a video detailing what happened in the movie, how it relates to the comics, and then what's going to go in the future. Now, the whole rumor of this was before the Justice League, this whole multiverse movie, basically based on a Flashpoint comic, was supposed to happen a couple years ago, you know, but detailing with a lot of personal stuff, dealing with, you know, everybody know the whole Ezra Miller situation, and then DC's always had a problem with trying to compete with Marvel, in my opinion, because one, I don't think the Justice League movie should have came out that early. That whole Superman versus Batman movie should not have come out that early. There's just no build up to it. You know, why are we getting these 6 characters? Even if it was the Snyderverse, or even if it was the other director, he's slipping my mind as of now. I'm sorry for that, but yes, even if it was the Snyderverse, which is a good rendition of the Justice League, we need those individual stories. Not everyone has watched the CW version of The Flash. Not everybody knows about Cyborg. You know, people know Cyborg from Teen Titans mainly. You know what I'm saying? Now, this movie is based loosely on the comic Flashpoint, starring Flash, obviously. Basically before it goes into the New 52, which happened early in the early 2010s, I believe, 2011 going to like 2014-ish. I may be wrong on those dates, but it's basically Flashpoint basically resets the DC universe. Now, the comic version of Flashpoint was basically a much needed way for the DC universe to start over comic-wise, you know, basically taking all the stories of all the superheroes that you love, Batman, Green Lantern, Superman, Wonder Woman, most of these characters who started in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s for the new wave of comic fans after the post-Bronze Age, you know, more into the modern day age of comics, to read these stories, but in the modern time. Now, the hype for the Flash movie, basically, I keep wanting to call it the Flashpoint movie because it's based loosely on Flashpoint, but the Flash movie, the most recent one, the hype around it, disregarding Ezra Miller's personal problems he's going on with the media and his personal life, the movie itself, the hype for it, I couldn't wait. I thought it was going to be a blockbuster, basically a blockbuster film. I thought, even through the controversy, I thought that this was going to be, you know, break DC out of the water. It was a movie that was good for what it was. It wasn't like it was in a DC version of Endgame, or it wasn't like that. I'd give it 6 out of 10 stars, and I'm going to go into details why. And that's not even saying it's a bad movie. It's just a lot of things that I want to get into that could have been a lot better from my standpoint. And mind you, all the DC fans, all the comic nerds like myself know about the movies and how most movies can't be exactly like the comic. However, it still just wasn't missing that. It still was missing that authentic feeling. Now, my first problem with the movie is the CGI, and mind you, the director explained this after the movie, but the CGI was not all that great. And now the director stated that it was because he wanted the fans to see what the Flash was seeing when he was in that speed burst, the bubble, when he went back into time. And I'm like, okay, you know, you're slowing time down, yes, but why did the director have to come out and say that after the movie? You know, why couldn't there have been some sort of dialogue in between that? You know, because obviously we get the funny scene where Ezra's like running, because he doesn't have the speed no more. He's running back to his younger self. His younger self has the power now. But even then, it just wasn't explained to it. You know, not everybody who knows, okay, I'm looking at the CGI and I'm like, okay, I know the reason that, but everybody who's just new to the film or just wants to see a new movie, or who's not even particular in reading comics or has never watched the Flash movie before, the certain stuff needs to be explained, and certain nuances need to be explained, and just quick 2 sentences. Now, as far as Ezra Miller being the Flash, I don't mind Ezra Miller as a Flash. And him in Justice League, even though Justice League I feel like came out way too early, I never minded Ezra being the Flash. In this movie, I feel like whether it was, I don't know if it was him trying to be extra funny, or if the directors wrote that in. But I feel like this movie should have had a little bit more of a serious tone to it. You know, I get it, you're going multiverses, you have the different Batmans, the Supergirl. Yeah, I understand that. But I feel like it was too much of way too much of a comedic movie. You know, not saying that this is completely a comedy movie, because it wasn't. Especially the last scene when he has to say goodbye to his mother for the last time, because he realized that everything is messed up. You know, kind of like the butterfly effect. You know. So basically, in the Flashpoint comics, you know, a small little summary. You know, he's going back in the time. He's trying to see. You know, and mind you, in the movie we don't see anything about Reverse Flash killing his mother, but basically he's trying to go and correct things and basically have the childhood that he never had, but really everything gets messed up. He has to say goodbye to his mother, and then that's basically the whole Flashpoint in essence. I've read the comic a long time ago. I didn't reread it. I got caught up on it from the stories of Comic Storian and I forgot what other comic channel that I watched. And I'm really up to date, but Comic Storian gives a really good breakdown on these comics. Another reason I give this movie a 6 out of 10 is the CGI. That basically takes the point off. Kind of like the comedic purposes of the acting takes that off. And just more of at the end, towards when he has to say goodbye to his mother, it was sad in its own regard, because I knew it, but for the people who've never seen a Flash or know about the Flash or know anything about the Reverse Flash, who was not in the movie whatsoever, I don't believe that their emotions was really heavily altered when that scene came in. You know, they probably likely looked at it as a scene of just a normal boy saying goodbye to his mother, despite not knowing the trueness of that moment, like that scenario, what it truly represents. Whether that's because they haven't read the comics, or, you know, I know never ever really put anything on the directors or the actors, because at the end of the day, I don't know who's ad-libbing, I don't know the scripts, I don't, you know, I just say the movie in a whole, because they all work together collectively. Now, what saved this movie from being 5 stars was the ending scene, because I know that we're going to get another. It basically leaves us on a cliffhanger. Not the one where he's walking with Aquaman and he's drunk. The one where he thinks everything is safe and he goes back and it's a different Batman. He goes back to his time and it's a different Bruce Wayne. That's what basically bumps it up a point, because not only are we going to get another movie regarding the Flash, but it is another chance for it to be more similar to the comic, for him to really end this chapter in DC, this dark chapter in DC. Because let's be honest, the last movies that were blockbuster of DC was the first Wonder Woman in 2017, the 2019 version of Joker, and I'm talking about in the last decade. I'm not talking about the 2008 version of The Dark Knight, which everyone thinks that is the greatest, which I think is pretty great. I just think it's an hour too long. Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, the ending scene, you know, I like the cliffhanger, you know, the second to last ending scene, not the post-credit scene, the ending scene. I like the cliffhanger. I like that we're going to get a second movie. I hope that the second Flash of the second movie compared to this Flash comes out before the second Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn. Because I feel like if they're going to restart something, the Flash has to come back before, and then that Joker movie should top it off, just to be like the second movie in the first part of. I think this should be like, if I'm not mistaken, we might, for DC, they might follow the comic versions of the New 52, which in itself I would like. You know, even though the Teen Titans gets a little bland in the New 52, everybody knows that the Teen Titans are my favorite DC superhero group. Well, my favorite superhero group outside of the superheroes that I make. But basically that's it. It was just my opinion on the Flash movie, the 2023 version starring Ezra Miller. 6 out of 10 stars. I really hope that the next Flash movie can be a lot better and be hopefully a little bit more authentic to the comics. But that's just my opinion. Some people say this is 10 out of 10. Some people say this is 0 out of 10. I'm saying this is a 6 out of 10 in my opinion. But hey, that's what it is. Well, anyway, my name is Malik Saber, signing off with the Black Haven Comics channel. Everybody subscribe to the YouTube channel. My social media on Twitter and Instagram is Black Haven Comics. Everybody have a blessed day.